Evening, folks. Flipping it. Just get rid of those frogs and toads and all the rest of it. Evening, folks. How are we doing? Welcome back to the channel. Back tonight for round 6 of the GTTCC, season 21 of this one. So 2 races again for you guys tonight. We've got Sardegna A for race 1, following a little 10-minute qualifier. And that's going to be for half an hour at Sardegna, and then we jump into reverse grid race for Brands Hatch GP circuit for race 2. So that's order of play tonight in terms of racing. I've got no score sheet to show you. I have got stickers to sell you if you want any of those. Hit me up, dartsmoker@googlemail.com. No t-shirts, unfortunately, all gone now. I don't know why I keep flicking that. All gone. All gone. Evening. How are you doing? Let me just turn that sound on. I think it's going to be another roaster here tonight. Probably going to be exactly the same kind of roaster as you're having. So, just before we dive into this qualifying session, let me read through points so far. It's Dark Clark leading the way with 149 points. We've got Hirokram in second with 146. Nikolaitis in third with 108. We've got Mocking Weeks fourth with 105. Judge Pickle in 5th with 104. LFC Fan in 6th with 96 points. 7th for Toby. He's not in the room. So no PSN, but 96 points on board for him. Also joint 6th with LFC Fan then. So 8th is Donkey Chong with 91 points. We've got Batman in 9th with 88 points. Fat Pickles Bro in 10th with 72 points. I Am Dommy in 11th with 68 points. We've got JRC87 in 12th with 67 points. 13th for GT Deli B, but I don't think we've seen him for a couple of weeks. He's got 48 points. Dixon 43 points on board, and then T50 Phil, again, not seen him for a week or two, I don't think. Yeah, did not start. In fact, where is... Oh yeah, Judge Pickle. Yeah, we've read you out, Judge Pickle. I didn't forget you. I thought I'd only got one of the pickles. But no, got both of the pickles. So, let's just have a look at the chat and see what's going on. So, just 9 people in the lobby tonight, by the looks of it. We were talking about potentially joining the elite lobby with the fusion lobby, just to try and make up more numbers, get more people on track. But according to the chat, and this is not me saying it, according to the chat, they're all scared. We would keep the points separate so that they can still run their own championship, so to speak. But no. They don't want to ruin someone's race, and we don't want to ruin their race. So let's not get involved. So we've got a 10-minute qualifier coming up after the bing, that thing. So yeah, just the 9 drivers on track for tonight. Pretty much, it's going to be the majority of these Genesis cars on track. I think we've got 1 NSX and 1 Sirocco. Mocking Weeks is in, so we should have a Mazda. Right, let me turn some nonsense. Oh, it's Sardegna backwards as well. Ooh. Quite like this track, actually. Quite like this track down here. standard left-hander as per normal, but then we peel to the right here through this 90-degree right. A little bit of a straight to have an attack on, but you've got to get yourself in exactly the right point for this left-hander coming up. Tightens, you've just got to back off the throttle a little bit on your way through there. There's the NSX of Batman behind. Judge Pickle, who we were on board with then, so almost a straight up here, and then we go to a left hand elbow at the top. Again, just out laps at the minute, so nobody trying to get too heavily involved. He says his LFC fan piles his Sirocco into the wall at the end of that straight. I can imagine this t-shirt is going to be a different colour by the end of tonight's stream as well. I should have maybe thought about that. Oh, LFC fan just catching up. A wing on the way through there again, so a little straight after that kink. Pretty much the final corner. There is one more corner to go, but it's pretty much a straight from here on in. But it is a big right hand kink coming up, but you do have to just watch out a little bit. You can cut it a little bit tight, pick up a bit of a penalty. If you get it wrong, it pushes you out wide to that wall on the outside, and kablamo, back onto this start finish straight. Hot laps underway now then. Again, we've only got pretty much these Genesis cars on track. Oh, I say that as he's on board with Fat Pickles with a Mazda. These things seem to be the most popular car for the GR4s. Again, there's Hirokram also in one. Judge Pickle, he's rolling in one as well. Batman's gone for the NSX, as we were looking at earlier. Chong has gone for the Genesis. LFC fan in the lonely Volkswagen. Sirocco, Michael Weeks in a Mazda as well. Does look a little bit similar to the Genesis on the front. Oh, Toby is in the room. Why didn't I see you at the start? Also in a Genesis. Got the sweats on already, people. And I'm not even behind the wheel. Look at these three at it like they're racing. They are only having a 10-minute qualifier, so it doesn't give them masses of opportunities really. Already 3.5 minutes into the qualifying session, and we're only just halfway around the first of the laps, the hot laps at least. Yes, I am Duco, if you're listening. Oof. Hirokram pushes it a little bit wide through that corner there. Let's see what sort of times they're putting in then. Mark Clark up front, isn't it? Let's stick with him. He stays as they go firing across the line. So it is Dark Clark on pole position currently. He's still got a couple of drivers left to cross the line. There's one. It's still Dark Clark on that pole. One more to go. See whether anybody else is able to top him on that first hot lap. No, so it is Dark Clark provisionally on pole. Hirokram second, Judge Pickle in third, Donkey Chong into fourth, Batman fifth. Ooh, LFC fan going wide in that Sirocco again in sixth. Toby in seventh, Mocky Weeks in eighth currently, and Fat Pickles in ninth. We are only just halfway through this qualifying session, and the hat's coming off. The hat is coming off. It's far too hot. So, right, is it going to be Dark Clark that tops it? Is he going to hold on to that pole for race one? Oof, not with that line, he's not. Pickles keeping him just wedged in between these two Genesis. There is Judge Pickle, currently sitting in third. Got Batman for company. Chong not far off the back of those two either. Currently sitting in 4th on the grid. Batman 5th. LFC fan again. Oh, he's crashed out Sirocco again. Got a little bit of front end damage. Just staying out of the way as Toby was coming through. Maybe the Sirocco not suited to this track. Again, a lot of these drivers put in a fair bit of time prior to the season testing out the different cars. Obviously they do updates and they nerf cars and they make cars better. So a little bit of testing pre-season just to sort of figure out which car's most stable, best on tyres, fastest, whatever it needs to be. And whichever is the sort of overall favourite seems to get chosen by the majority of drivers across the majority of the lobbies. This is spread over about 5 or 6 different lobbies. GTTCC. Batman goes a little bit quicker, drops himself into 3rd, then ahead of Judge Pickle. Fat Pickles finds a bit more time as well, so he's into 4th. Rocky Weeks into 5th. Judge Pickle gets pushed all the way down to 6th then. Was 3rd on that previous hot lap. Donkey Chong 7th, Toby 8th, and LFC fan 9th currently. Just over the 7-minute mark of this qualifying session. I'm dripping already, it's ridiculous. Putting that on. I don't know whether you can hear that fan blowing in the background, but unfortunately, you're just going to have to put up with it for a minute at least. Hirokram then goes quicker. Oh, and Fat Pickles and Donkey Chong. So Hirokram finds a bit of time there. 150.6 the fastest time now. Fat Pickles also finding a bit of time. 150.007. Going with the full-on James Bond. Donkey Chong as well coming through to take 3rd provisionally. 151.129. Clark nudged down to 4th then. Batman 5th with those new drivers coming through. Mocking in 6th. Pickle pushed down to 7th now. Sorry, that's Toby in 8th. LFC Van just chasing down Judge Pickle in 9th. Again, just not getting on with that Sirocco, I don't think, here. See, it's already got a few little dinks and dents on it. He's picked up a bit of damage on a couple of these laps. It's not a bad little car, this Sirocco. Just might not have the pace or the stability of the rest of the cars in the field. Front-wheel drive, where I think everything else on track is rear. Maybe the Mazda's 4-wheel drive. That could be front-wheel drive, but the Sirocco seems to blow out his tyres pretty quickly. Hirokram pulled over. Batman pulls over in front of him. What are you pair doing? What are you pair up to? Donkey Chong just staying out of the way of these boys on the fastest part of the track. Looks like he might be coming in the pits actually. No, just running a slow lap. He puts the indicator on to tell Chewie he's pulling over. Chewie decides he's going to give him a little love tap on the way through. Why not? Okay, Toby then just crossing the line, taking 2nd provisionally just behind Hirokram. 150.917 on the clock for him. Got to be careful on turn 1. It's going to be difficult right at the start with everyone trying to get around that corner together. Turn 1 and turn 2 really the tricky ones. Or maybe turn 3. I'm not counting the sort of double corners at turn 1. That's all one corner as far as I'm concerned. Hirokram then, quite comfy rolling around. That is going to be qualifying session over. So Toby's still out, got the opportunity to find a bit more time, as has Fat Pickles. Donkey Chong's pulled over, so that's his time done and dusted. Dark Clark still out on track. Batman as well, still putting times in. Monkey Winks has crossed the line, so he's going to stay 7th unless he gets pushed down by anybody else. Judge Pickles already finished anyway, as has LFC Fan. So Toby, Fat Pickles, able to find a bit more time maybe. 3 of a second Toby's got to find to take pole. Well, 0.25 really. Oh, a little bit wide through there. Oh, Dark Clark's come through right at the end of qualifying then, just sticks himself back on that top spot. New timer 1:50.656, still just over 0.25 of a second he's got to make up to take pole. Not this time though. So it is Mr. Clark on the top spot then. Comes through right at the end of that qualifying session for a sneaky pole. If you're listening, just let me know you can hear the sounds okay, me, the cars. I have turned the sound on, haven't I? Yes, I have turned the car sound on. Good. Do forget sometimes. And that this fan next to me is not blowing too loud, and if that's the slowest it goes, there's no more turning it down. Hirokram, Dark Clark, well done. Dark Clark, thank you. And then Hirokram, damn you though, he thought he was on pole. Dark Clark snooked it off him. Snooked it right at the very end. Okay, no messing about tonight then. Start at 18. It's already 17 minutes past on my clocks. All of my screens and the watch and the phone, it's all there, it's all right. We've got a minute, less than that now. I assume they're not going to, oh, Toby. Got like 13 seconds to get back in your seat. Be right back. Dear me. That's not what you want. Yeah, I can't imagine they're going to have us hanging around too long in between, you know, qualifying and the race. Obviously, a minute we've had, and then, or probably longer now because of GTP Toby. We can blame him if everyone's a bit hot and sweaty now because it's Toby holding us all up. And then obviously I don't think they're going to have too much of a break in between race 1 and race 2 either, because who wants to be sitting in a sweaty sim seat for sort of 10 minutes in between a race, you know? Not me, that's for sure. All I'm doing is talking to you lot. Why can Toby say he's going, but he can't tell him he's back? Better be back, or his car's going to be stuck on the grid. It's still 18 minutes, alright, okay, alright. Okay then, here we go, 30 minutes here at Sardegna. Let's see if they can all get around turn 1 cleanly. Let's hope nobody gets a false start either. Okay, lights go on then. Let's hope Toby's back in his car as well. And he is. Well, somebody's pressing the throttle. Off they go then. It's a clean start. Everybody peeling over, looking for a position, looking to go slightly defensive into turn 1 as well. Let's get ourselves on board with Dark Clark, race leader then. Through turn 1 cleanly then, and this through the kink down the straight towards what I like to call turn 2. You can call it whatever you like. Side by side between Hirokram and GTP Toby. Toby leaving the door open as well. Donkey Chong having a look at him around that next turn. Toby having the advantage. So it is Dark Clark then that holds on to the lead so far, but we are coming to a bit of a section with a bit of a straight on. Here at Cramp, just compromising Dark Clark's run into that turn, possibly slowing him down on the way out. Gets a little move up the inside here. Oh, which side is he? Carries that speed up. Is it going to be enough? I don't think it is. Might be looking to run around the outside. Dark Clark still side by side with him. A little bit of slide in action, but it is Dark Clark that remains in front out of that little fight. And they all stay in a line again then towards these last two turns. Cram pushes it a little bit wide. There's a couple of cars gone wide through that turn there. That's not what I meant to be doing. Oh no, GTP Toby's got the braking point wrong. He's slammed straight into the back of Hirocram, pushed him onto the grass. All sorts of chaos at the end of lap 1 then. Drivers on the grass around that corner previously, just opening that field up. It's LFC fan that kind of gets left behind a little bit. He's a second behind everybody else. Dark Clark though, through that little bit of chaos, has now gained himself 1.6 seconds lead. 3 wide coming into turn 1 then. Hirocram just holds on to it. Judge Pickle had a look at him, as did Chewy. Chewy under threat from Fat Pickles. Fat Pickles got the inside line through this next turn as well. Chewy, if you can hold on to it though, sorry, Donkey Chong is... Oh no, LFC fan, that is not the way to be driving that Sirocco. Toby and is that Batman almost having some contact through there as well. Look at the gap that Dark Clark's got in front. Look at the gap that poor LFC fans got behind as well. Big gap for him to catch up on. Midfield battle is where it's at the minute. Let's just jump on to chase cam with Mockin. Back at this little pile. Along this little back straight then. Full tilt through here. Everybody getting a little bit of a toe off of everybody else. This is the corner where we caught a few drivers off. This is where we caught a little bit of contact between a few of the drivers as well, which allowed Dark Clark to escape. And they go again then, still all in a line. Holding on to that 1.6 seconds lead then. Hirocram pulls a little bit of a gap away from Donkey Chong. Not quite out of that tow range, still pulling him along then. He's obviously then pulling along Judge Pickle. Then pulling along the Fat Pickles himself. As the same for Batman and Toby having a little squint up the inside. Batman carrying good speed through there, straight past Fat Pickles. Toby had a little look as well, not quite close enough to go for that one. These 4 drivers all getting a little bit close again then. Like it's going to be Batman that comes out on top out of that little fight. It is. He drops himself into 5th then. So back up front, still Dark Clark leading. Lost a little bit of that lead, 1.5 seconds. Hirocram then in 2nd still, but Donkey Chong closing that gap up on him pretty rapidly, just 0.5 of a second back. Big gap back to Judge Pickle, unfortunately. He's out of that tow range from the top 3. He's going to slowly come under threat from these pile of drivers behind as Batman in the background has to go defensive. Pickles looks around the outside, almost makes Batman go a little bit deep. Goes for the switchback, doesn't work though. You see them get closer to Judge Pickle through there though. Pickles almost pushing Batman through the corners. Few drivers just kicking up the gravel through there. Good exit from all of them out of that final turn. Slowly catching catching up on Batman here, but he's obviously slowly closing up on Judge Pickle in front. Not going to be enough before turn one. Out of threat from behind as well at the moment. Starting to open up a little bit then, apart from these two. Dark Clark losing another couple of tenths to Hirakram. Pulls a little bit more time away from Donkey Chong then, so he's out of the slipstream range from Hirakram. Hirakram is still finding time here on Dark Clark. There is the Donk stop. Pickle still holding on to fourth then, not quite being closed up by Batman. Still got Fat Pickles in his rearview mirror, less than half a second back. Toby a second behind him, and LFC, oh sorry, that's Mocking Weeks. It's Mocking Weeks, and there is LFC Fan. So despite that Sirocco not quite driving as well as everything else on track, he's still only 2.3 seconds behind that. Driving it a little bit more safely than he was during qualifying. Still got most of the paint on it at the moment. Top three then. Big gap back to fourth, and there is Judge Pickle starting to come under threat then from Batman. Genesis hold it against the NSX here. Close, not close enough into turn one. Little flash of lights from Batman there. Can Judge Pickle fend him off? Where are we? Only 8 minutes into the first race tonight. Half an hour here at Sardegna. Closing up the little NSX. Say level's quite a big car in person, to be honest. Judge Pickle getting a good exit out of that corner though, pulls a little bit of time over Batman. Doesn't get away through there though, Batman closing up on him, just quarter of a second in it between them. On board with Batman then, as he chases down Judge Pickle for that fourth place, carrying good speed up here as well. Judge Pickle going to make him run around the outside. Onto it for the time being. A couple of corners to go before we get to that final turn. And then we might see Batman, if he can stay this close, he might go for the move using the slipstream on that long start and finish straight. Oh, a little mistake by Judge Pickle there. A short little straight though. Batman doesn't go for the move up the inside here. Could cost both of them their race. But does get a great exit out of here though, right on the tail of Judge Pickle out of that final turn. Close up then, Batman. Is it going to be enough before turn one? Judge Pickle holding this left hand side. Maybe a little bit deep, has he? No, he's just about to hold on to it. Judge Pickle's not letting that one go easy though. Off coming into turn two then. Allows Batman to hold on to that one. Okay, let's see what's happening up front. Dark Clark has found a little bit more time over Hirakram, so pulls that first place a little bit further away from Hirakram. 1.8 seconds the gap. Donkey Chong as well gets himself just back into the slipstream range of Hirakram, so could pull himself back towards him. Any mistakes. So Batman through to that fourth position then. We've just watched that happen. Judge Pickle in fifth. Toby, Fat Pickles and Mockin all having a go at each other. Toby through to sixth he is. Fat Pickles 7th, then Mockin in 8th. Unfortunately, LFC fan 5.7 seconds down in that Sirocco. Tricky last corner, that one. These four looking to have a real good race then. Fat Pickles has had a bit of an incident somewhere. He's spun off track, got a little bit of rear end damage. This has been shunted by somebody else. No damage on anybody else's car. A little bit of rear end damage. Then he falls off that fight he was in, and now he's got LFC fan to play with. It's not a four-way fight. Dropped to a three-way fight now then in midfield. Clark still finding time. He's decided he's had enough of looking at Hirakram, maybe getting a little bit closer, disappear and let Hirakram have issues of his own, worrying about Donkey Chong behind him. Oh, they are still four together here. Then Batman, Judge Pickle, Toby and Mockin still at it then. Pickle coming under threat for another position here then. Toby all over the back of him, Mockin as well, right there. I'm going to see Toby go for a move on Judge Pickle. Could be close enough. No, backs out of it before this left-hander. Up the cam then for a little bit of this race going on here. 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th we're looking at. Well, we're on board with 7th, we're looking at 4th, 5th and 6th. This final corner again then, a couple of mistakes here this evening, mostly in qualifying, but we have seen one or two in the race as well. Around they go again, right, are they close enough? Doesn't look like Judge Pickle. It's half a second behind Batman. Time coming down, it's not going to be enough before turn 1. Don't think Toby's close enough to Judge Pickle either. And Mockin is a little bit further back from Toby, so nobody's going to go for a move into turn 1. Through we go then, lap 8. Oh, LFC fan goes a little bit wide through that first turn, catches the gravel. It's going to slow him down a little bit. Clark then 2 seconds up the road from Hirakram. Donkey Chong just hanging on to Hirakram at the minute, 1.1 seconds behind him. Time's been yo-yoing between those two a little bit. Gets himself into the tow range and then falls out of the tow range, Donkey. There is that four-way fight coming up the hill. Batman, Toby, Judge Pickle and Mockin Weeks. Fat Pickle's in the background. Slowly losing LFC fan, but still 5.3 seconds behind that battle in front. He'll be upset he's fallen out of that, I'm sure. Always good to have a real good battle, you know. Two drivers neck and neck. Not you three boars. These four. Fat Pickles in the background actually making up a little bit of time on Mockin there. Batman seems to have found a little bit of something with that NSX, because he is just keeping it ahead of those three drivers behind him, even with the use of the slipstream of that long start-finish straight. Not benefiting them as much as they like, I'm sure. Around they go again then for another lap. stay together for the rest of the race. So full 16 minutes raced so far. We've got another 14 minutes left of this. Still at it. Tom Pickles unfortunately falling away from that fight now, 5.5 seconds behind that four-way fight. Still making up time on LFC fan though, pulling away from him a little bit. Has anybody got anything to throw at Dark Clark this season? He just seems to be smashing it. Hirokram has been his closest rival. Donkey Chong's tried his hardest, but he's not been able to stick with the pace of Dark Clark. Hirokram's been a bit of a challenge for him as well. He's been struggling a tiny bit in that Mazda maybe this season. Getting in a good position to go for a move on Judge Pickle here. Gap between Toby and Pickle just starting to get a little bit bigger there as well. Week's got to be careful he doesn't allow that gap to get so big that he ends up losing those two drivers in front while he tries to make his way past Judge Pickle here. So the gap between 5th and 6th already at a second. Mocking Weeks looking for a way past Judge Pickle then. Up on the 6th place driver. Is it going to be enough? Is he carrying enough speed? He does. Sweeps his way around the outside. Great bit of driving by Mocking. Great bit of racecraft by Judge Pickle as well. Seeing the move coming. He was round the outside, so anything could have happened here really. Judge Pickle fully aware that he was coming around the outside, so didn't do anything crazy. He left in the room. Through Mocking Weeks it goes to 6th. Fortunately now 1.4 seconds behind Toby in front there. Now can Judge Pickle hang on to Mocking Weeks? 0.7 of a second back currently. So Pickles has found a little bit of time here as well. Pulls half a second back on that fight in front. LFC fan losing more time unfortunately. I think we should petition for LFC fan to have a free car change for the rest of the season. I'm voting for it. Comment in the chat. Dennis and Graham, give LFC fan free car change. Toby now then all over the back of Batman. Mocking Weeks again, just trying to make up that time, get back involved in this fight. 1.2 seconds, sorry, 1.4 seconds, it was 1.2 just before he hit that corner. These two now at it though. Donkey Chong still hanging on to Hirokram there as well, coming up the hill. 1.3 seconds back, so it's only going to take a teeny tiny mistake for Donkey Chong to have a go at Hirokram. This Dark Clark pulls another second, 2.9 seconds up the road. Not putting a foot wrong then, just inch perfect pretty much every time with that car. Behind, can't do anything for him. A little bit of a slide there for Batman around that final turn. Not compromised him too much, but Toby in a real good position here. Quarter of a second behind him as they hit the kink. Trying to carry the speed then around the outside. Batman trying to push him over to the far side of the circuit. Give him as much room as possible to get the corner. And does do. Maybe a little bit naughty, pushing people over. We don't like the, it wasn't a push past to pass, if you like, but it was a, you know, a nudge across the track. Now then, Toby in a good position, carries that line round the outside. Oh, tiny bit of contact there though. Thought he managed to carry the speed, but Batman was still next to him around the exit of that corner. Holds on to it again for another lap here then, Batman. Toby's got to do it all again. Starting to run out of time now as well. 21.5 minutes into race one. Cars all over the place on track. We've got Dark Clark up front, 2.7 seconds up the road from Hirakram. He's maintained that 1.2, 1.3 second gap between himself and Donkey Chong in third. And Batman has managed to take that fourth. He's been there for a little while. Oh, there's Toby having another look at him. Getting a real good position here for Toby. Tucked himself right under that rear wing of Batman coming out of this final corner. Then carrying all that speed down here. Toby's going to have to run to the outside again. Batman's not going to make it easy for him, but he should really be holding his line here. Yeah, not. Oh, he's kicked onto the sand. Oh, Donkey Chong's got it wrong as well. We've missed that. Donkey Chong's got it wrong around turn one. Running wide a tiny bit there by Batman while he was trying to defend off GTP Toby. That's just allowed Toby through. Now he's kind of going for those lungy dives, which, you know, is going to end up in trouble for the pair of you. Unfortunately, it will be you that's at fault, Batman. Again, running out of time. 7 minutes left on the clock. Dark Clark up front then by a big 5.8 second margin now then. Maybe Hirakram was possibly involved in getting something wrong, maybe. Big gap back to him now. Batman another 4.4 seconds back as he gets himself past Toby again on the run up the hill. Toby though the inside line. It's getting a bit punchy between these two. Throwing helmets at each other after the race. Toby though through to third position. Just keeps it on track as well. Batman chasing him down though. Wants that position back regardless of which one it is. He was in front of Toby, now he's behind. Obviously that'll benefit him. Up to third place with the disappearance of Donkey Chong. There he is back on track in sixth behind Mocking Weeks. Now what are we going to see Batman go for the move back down this start finish straight. Not close enough. We would have already seen Toby at the side of Batman by now. He's carrying speed down to this last corner. Sorry, come on camera, keep up. Pushes his way through then around the outside there. Good bit of driving. That was a clean overtake. Toby's on him though. He wants that position back. Already having a little look at the inside coming into this turn now. Try and get him side by side before they come out of this corner. Great bit of driving between these two. And just got the advantage running up the hill, has he? He has. Gets himself back in front. Uses that car as a bit of a blocker. Gets himself back onto the racing line. Makes Toby look to run around the outside again. He's switched back up to the inside though. Lastminute.com. Wasn't able to get the brakes on and up the inside of Batman before they came to that turn. So it's Batman that holds on to that third position. The battle in between these two is just allowing Mocking Weeks, Donkey Chong and Judge Pickle to close back up on them though. That Pickle's not too far off either. He has made up a bit of time on these boys. 3.8 seconds to get back to him, then not 5.5 as it was. LFC fan. 11 seconds down in that Sirocco. Look at this, 8.6 seconds up the road now for Dark Clark. Hirocramp possibly getting that turn one wrong as well, where Donkey Chong did. They're still active in that third position in the background. Look at this. Still got the advantage. He's still got the wing up the inside coming into this turn. And Toby carry the speed out though. Oh, almost got his wing up the inside. Almost. Got to be careful. It could end up in disaster though. They are almost pushing each other around the track. Mocking Week catching up them. Then he's looking for his way past now. Then if you two are going to keep having a bit of a battle, I'm going to try and make my way past. Oh, tail lights up for Batman. It's going to be under all sorts of pressure coming up this back straight. With Mocking Weeks then in the middle of this pile, we've got Batman in front under serious threat then from Toby. Mocking Weeks just 0.3 of a second back. Doesn't matter who he's behind, he's getting a toe off one of these drivers coming up the hill. Brakes early, these two not on the brakes early, last minute. Oh, Batman hits the wall, gets pushed across track, hits Toby. Toby ends up on the grass. Donkey Week's now in a good position to go for a move here. Donkey Chong still not quite out of it. Donkey Week's actually having to back off the throttle through there. Donkey Chong and the Judge Pickle will all have a run down here. As long as they've got to get your words out, Smoker. As long as they get a good exit. Seems like they've all managed to get out of that last turn pretty well, but Donkey Weeks might be a little bit too far back. Donkey Chong might be a little bit too far back as well. Already past the pit entrance. Toby not going to go for it this lap by the looks of it. Or maybe he goes for a late move up the inside. Carries the speed through. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. He takes that third again then for another lap. This is going to become final lap then for the majority of drivers. Dark Clark, Hirocramp, maybe see another lap. Chong, late move up the inside through there. Now or never really. Last few corners before we hit this start-finish line. Toby hugging that inside line. Batman then looking to run around the outside into this elbow up the top of the hill. Carrying a good bit of speed as well. It's all about the bravery on the brakes here. And it is Toby that gets himself in front again. Oh, Donkey Chong runs a bit deep through there. Sticks two wheels on the grass, doesn't slow him down too much. Alright, let's just keep an eye on this. Right through there for Toby as well. Batman gets a little slide on, so it is going to be Dark Clark then. So he's going to see another lap. Oh, we are going to see and maybe another lap from a few drivers here. Hirocramp is going to get another lap himself. I forget how long this straight is. Kicking off then here in third place for Toby currently. They do cross the line, they do get another lap here then. Donkey Chong now tucked right onto the back of Batman. He's going to be looking for a move. We've got a battle behind as well. Mocking Weeks and Judge Pickle all at it. So third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh still having a good old fight. Fat Pickles has crossed the line. He comes home in 8th. LFC Fan will come across the line in 9th. Toby's heading in the pits. Has a wobble up to the line and takes that final position. Dark Clark boring, Hirocramp boring. So Toby holding that third. Donkey Chong has found his way through to 4th position. He's been a bit brave right at the end of this race and he's got himself through to 4th. Batman all over the back of him though, running up the hill. Donkey Chong is not going to be averse to a bit of defending coming up here. Quite happily send you out to that far side of the track, mate. He gets himself back onto that racing line, but it is going to be a drag race down to the start finish line then. So there is Dark Clark, just the kink to go then for him, and he takes the win in race 1. Again, been successful pretty much all season. Flashing at the lights then, gives his pit crew away as he comes through. First place for him then, Hirakram through the kink. He is going to be comfortably in second. Here come the rest of the maniacs in the background. Toby is going to take third, Donkey Chong fourth, Mocking Weeks is going to take fifth, Judge Pickles sixth. What happened to Batman? Comes home in 7th position, Fat Pickles in 8th, LFC Fan in 9th. Wow. Right. Go off for a minute because it's not as hot as it was earlier. There is Dark Clark then on the top spot for race 1. Sardegna, done and dusted. So, another race coming up. We've got another half an hour booked at Brands Hatch GP circuit. That'll be coming up. Whoa, probably be about 55 minutes past. Not sure what's happening in the chat. Right. Although it was nice and cool, took down a second to turn it off. And yeah, it does look like there might have been a little bit of contact between Hirakram and Donkey Chong, maybe. So Brands Hatch GP then. Tricky circuit this one, very tight in a few places. In fact, it's only sort of wide on the start finish straight. The rest of it's quite tight. Start on the hour if everyone will be ready. Flipping it, mocking. That's 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Oh, is that all it was? Is that all it was, Chewy? I wasn't sure if there was contact between you and Hirakram because he'd lost a bit of time to Dark Clark as well, so he must have just made a mistake at the same point as you, because you were both a little bit further back when we flicked over. Don't forget to hit that like button, people. I'm going to refresh now because I've got none. But refresh now, please. Right. Quick. Two. Alright. It's better. So race 1 was a free choice of car, but as you saw, majority of drivers picked that Genesis. Race 2 isn't free choice, but everyone has got the same car. And it looks a bit like the Genesis. It's not, it's the Nissan GTR. But yeah, race 2, the car is chosen for them, and that's that. Yeah, it was a good effort by you, Chewy, to be honest, at the end. It was a good effort for all of the races, to be perfectly honest. It was, good effort. Coming back from 6th to pile the pressure back on as well. Fair play. believe Watkins making us wait another 5 minutes. So this is what we are going to be in for race 2. The Nissan GTR. And again, we're at Brands Hatch GT. Very tight circuit. Some decent opportunities for overtakes, but some very, very tricky corners that if you get wrong can spell disaster. This being one of them. Well, in fact, all the corners here at Brands Hatch will kill you if you're not careful. Through Paddock Hill, get this one wrong, you're on the sand on the outside. Oh, just hanging on to that one, Mr. Pix. Up to Druids, again, get this one wrong, and you're pushed out wide. Second Graham Hill. Down here, not too bad, there's a big chunk of curbing on the outside, a lot of drivers riding all of that curb all the way down here. Down towards Surtees then, again, get this one wrong, late apex on this one, a lot of drivers catch the apex a little bit too early on that. It is a little bit tricky, you've got to wait for so long and just drive it all the way around the outside and then throw it in. A bit of a tricky corner then, down along this middle straight then, down into Pilgrim's Drop. Double right-hander. This Westfield and not McLaren, what is it? I forget, it could be McLaren. Down the hill then, Dingledell, back up the hill, through Sheen Turn. This one, very, very tricky, very tight, carrying a lot of speed through there, just wants to push you out to that left-hand side. This is where we caught up with Mr. Pickles. Just gets through that turn. A bit of grass on the outside, but just to hang on to it. Looking for all the shortcuts at the minute then, Mr. Pickle. So yeah, everybody in the GTR for race 2. So reverse grid, that puts Dark Clark at the back. But looking at his form, what do we think? He's going to be able to get through to the front? He's been pretty consistent most weeks. He's been first usually in race 1, and then he's kind of pretty much first, second, third, race 2. So he certainly knows his lines. Seems to matter what car you put him in, he is pretty quick, Mr. Clark. Here a crap, closest rival at the minute, but just can't seem to find the pace of Dark Clark. He's got that, he must be throwing a little bit of weight out the windows or something. C-Fan will start us out then. He'll lead us around for the start of race 1, race 2. Hanging in the pits, Donkey Chong just coming out for a little thrash about. Toby and Batman all sitting in the pits then. Just relaxing before race 2. Too relaxed though, gents. Don't get too relaxed. Ooh, I hear a cramp. Again, looking for as many of those shortcuts as possible, seeing how far we can take the shortcuts before picking up penalties. Everyone getting their excuses in early. People having trouble with the car, trouble with the track. Okay, looks like we're about to crack on with race 2 here then. What have I just done with that? That's right. it is. On the hour then. So another half an hour here at Brands Hatch. Again, tricky circuit. See how wide it is at this point, but it doesn't stay wide like this for very long. Lights go on then. No false starts. Everyone getting away well. LFC fan under threat then already for the lead of the race. Having to look around the outside. Batman goes in a bit hard as well. Fortunately, poor LFC fan gets nudged straight to the back of the field, unfortunately, through the first couple of turns. Picks up half a second penalty as well. Fat Pickles then into the lead. Batman, tyre screening. Batman into second. Weeks in third. Donkey Chong right behind him in fourth. Hirokram fifth. GTP Toby trying to find a way past in sixth. Trying to get a wing up the inside, top of the hill. It's not going to be there though. Judge Pickle in seventh. LFC fan 8 still holding that half a second penalty. And Dark Clark trying to get through the field early on. Went off the track at Surtees. Stayed at the back of the pack, a little way off the back of LFC fan at the minute, but coming up to the penalty loss zone at the minute, so we'll see LFC fan. Brakes will be automatically applied for him, and Dark Clark will go firing past. There we go. There is Fat Pickles, 1.8 second lead. Feather in the throttle through Paddock Hill, or Donkey Chong up the inside of Donkey Chong cleanly up the inside of Batman there. Batman not liking that one a little bit. Sends himself back across the track, give Donkey Chong a little bit of a door bang. Hirokram scooping one up the inside as well through Surtees. That's Mocking Weeks also having another look here. Judge Pickle and Toby still pretty packed together. Dark Clark not out of this yet either. He'll close up on these boys while they're vying for position coming up the hill. Risking it all through there. Mocking and Toby. Toby, you can't go side by side through there. Slow a little bit. That's going to give Dark Clark the opportunity to. Oh, we've gone too far. Dark Clark the opportunity to get one on the inside. Slowly carving his way back through the field then. Look at this. Judge Pickles, 2.4 seconds. 2.5 seconds of the road. Donkey Chong then through into second now. Hirokram chasing him down. Batman in fourth. Judge Pickle holding fifth. Mocking Weeks in sixth. Dark Clark in seventh. Mocking Weeks just getting over to the inside line then. Dirty tyres. Wants to go defensive early on. Clark's not going to make that easy for him. He's going to hold the line coming around the top of Druids. The inside line coming through Graham Hill as well. Mocking Weeks has to leave the door open. Toby's having a look at him. He's got the inside line again into Surtees here, so Mocking then gets pushed down to 8th. LFC fan still trying to gain time back on those drivers in front. Penalty early on, got a little bit bullied, I think. Picking on you, LFC fan. It's because of the football team you support. Fat Pickles risks it a little bit through there. Kicks up a bit of dirt, runs a tiny bit slow through the next couple of corners. Battle happening behind Hirokram, then having a look to get past Donkey Chong. A little bit of contact between them as Hirokram tried to scoop one around the outside through there. That's not the line. still got Batman for company. They have still got Judge Pickle for company. Just 0.7 of a second back is Dark Clark, already through to 6th then. That's Toby and Mockin. Oh, Toby! Oh, turned in a little bit too early through there. Cuts across the grass. Mockin then finds himself up the inside. Toby then also finds himself with half a second penalty. Well held really to come firing across Paddock Hill Bend like that without ending up on the grass. Sorry, in the sand. Fair play. He's going to have to lose that penalty at the end of this lap. Okay, Fat Pickles has got it all wrong somewhere. I'll tell you what, Batman, I'm seeing a lot of you just sending it across track and banging into cars here. You know, I'm sure other drivers are going to call you out for it as well, but we're not seeing some fair and clean racing off you, my friend. You know, you've got to be fair. If you get overtaken, you get overtaken. You can't just send it across the track and start nudging people. That's not what the MRC is about, my friend. Fat Pickles pushes it a little bit too hot through there. He's also found himself with a half a second penalty. Hirokram trying to drive around the outside. That's a tricky place to go for a move as well. Fat Pickles just hangs on to that one though, but it is Donkey Chong that's managed to find his way through to the front. 1.8 seconds lead. Pretty fast driver as well, so as long as Fat Pickles can keep Hirokram behind him, too late. Big pack in this midfield, battling for position. Toby Rocky Weeks just, oh, was that tyre squealing? It was. Who's that? That's Fat Pickles. Spun himself off through 30s. Finds a half a second penalty. He already had the half a second penalty, I think. He now falls off the pack, 4 seconds behind, 6 seconds in front of LFC Fan. Still this man, Donkey Chong, up front, 1.5 seconds away from Hirokram. We are 7.5 minutes into race 2. Dark Clark has also found his way through to 3rd as well. Now what's he got? Can he close the gap up on Hirokram? Plenty of time left in this race to do it. Can he make the time back up on Donkey Chong as well? 2.8 seconds ahead of him. Can he take 2 wins here tonight? Batman then still holding that 4th. Judge Pickle right next to him though, coming around that final turn. At the inside line, coming into turn 1. Oh, look at that, Toby finds a gap as well, fires his way straight past Batman. Batman comes back at him at Druids though. They're going to be 3 wide coming down the hill almost. They are almost 3 wide. No, who got caught out there? Who's off track there? It is Batman. Saw somebody going off track. I didn't see who, and I didn't see how. There's no damage on Batman's car either, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. NFC Fan through to 8th there. Mocky Weeks, sorry, Fat Pickles bro losing that penalty. Probably having another little mistake as well. Put him at the back of the pack, unfortunately. So Donkey Chong, 1.8 seconds lead, gone then, down to 0.3 of a second, under threat then from Hirokram. Dark Clark just a second behind Hirokram himself, so the gap down to 1.3 seconds between 3rd place and 1st. There they are, Hirokram already all over the back of Donkey Chong for that top spot. Dark Clark just outside of that tow range. These 2 heading down towards Paddock Hill then, side by side through turn 1. And they're going to be running slow, that's going to allow Dark Clark to close the gap up. Carries the speed through Paddock Hill, gets that gap down to less than a second, side by side for these 2 again through Druids. look at how much time Dark Clark's made up on them. Right behind the pair of them now. Still side by side through Graham Hill. Hirokram holds his line though and gets that first position. Donkey Chong is going to have to slot into second through 30s. He goes for a move back up the inside. Another drag race along the back straight then. Dark Clark is just going to squeeze his way in between. No, he's not. He's having a little look at the inside of the pair of them. Backs off at the top of the hill. Looks like he's got the move on Donkey Chong. And Donkey Chong has to back off. And this is the top three as it was in race one as well. Hirokram, Dark Clark, Donkey Chong. Not necessarily in this order. Going to be out of those three tonight then. George Pickle into fourth, Toby right behind him in fifth. Monkey Wheat just a hair behind the pair of them as well. Now pretty much a trio pushing each other down the track. Batman in seventh, a long way off that pile of drivers in front, 9 seconds behind those, 14 seconds ahead of this man though. And he is again another 16 seconds ahead of this man. All kicking off here up front for first, second and third. You can see Donkey Chong just picking up that early apex, and you can see the gap that's caused by that. Dark Clark and Hirokram taking the late apex through 30s. Donkey Chong is able to slowly bring that time back down between these two, but just loses that big chunk of time just through that one corner. Might want to think about taking that late exit, that late apex. Touching distance really, 1.4 seconds between the top three. Toby through to fourth then, Judge Pickle fifth, Monkey Wheats sixth. Batman with a penalty, just losing that there in seventh. Safely ahead of Fat Pickles, another 13 seconds ahead of him. LFC Van still 16 seconds down. Top three then starting to break apart a little bit, 1.6 seconds between them. Donkey Chong almost the driver being left behind. The gap between Dark Clark and Hirokram is also just yo-yoing a little bit. Donkey Chong goes a bit deep through there, trying to carry the speed, falls out of slipstream range of those two in front. There's that late apex. Holds 1.4 as he comes around the hill. Doesn't lose any time to Hirokram and Dark Clark in front. Toby, Judge Pickle, Mockin still pretty close together. Decent midfield battle for first race as well. Decent midfield battle for race two. Broken apart a little bit though. Last three drivers, big gaps between these boys. Time starting to open up here again up front. Hirokram then with a full second lead over Dark Clark. Donkey Chong does lose a little bit more time to those drivers, 0.3 of a second. Still safe from Toby for the time being, 2.3 seconds ahead of him. Front left on everybody's cars looking a bit beaten up though. Judge Pickle, blown through yours. Monkey Wheats having a little look up the inside on the exit of Druids. Down to Graham Hill. So is that going to affect Judge Pickle by the end of this race? It probably is. What's take those right-handers very quick at all. Pickles tyres looking really good, as are LFC fans. You see here a grand big pile of red on the front of his. Dark Clark's looking reasonably good as well. Done well to maintain those, looking pretty even throughout. Chong's not looking too bad, a little bit of extra wear on that front left, but nothing too dramatic. Same for GTB Toby, very similar. Judge Pickle seems to be blowing that front left out more than anybody else. That is going to work to Mockin's favour at some point throughout this race. Again, back three, just 10 plus seconds apart from each other. Okay, here it comes. In a little bit of time again to Dark Clark, chasing him back down for that top spot. Judge Pickle comes in the pits this lap then. Opts to go for the fresh set. No fuel needed. It's going to be way out of the pack of drivers now though. Just gets himself out in front of Batman. Should be able to hold that as well with those fresher tyres. Batman trying to carry the same amount of speed, just pushing it a little bit wide through those turns, tries to hang on to the tail end of Judge Pickle. Could be his downfall again if he just forgets, tries to carry the same amount of speed through some of these turns. Could just end up putting him in the gravel. He's still getting a good toe off of him at the moment. Oh, he's on the mediums up front as well. Okay, I didn't notice that, Batman. A few drivers opted to go for the, what I like to call the mullet setup for these races. Just saves a little bit of front end wear on the tyres. Let's see what's happening up front. No, Donkey Chong! Donk of the Chong. He's going to be double, triple, quadruple annoyed now. He's annoyed at himself in race one. He's binned it. TC Mark, I'm good, thanks. Too bloody hot to race. Well, it is a little bit. I'm sitting here with fans on as well, so God knows what you boys are feeling. Oh, Donkey Chong in the pits then. He's decided he's going to opt for tyres at this point as well. Why not? I wonder if anybody else will opt to come in. Hirocram not stopped yet, but he has got Dark Clark right behind him now, just half a second back. So, with Donkey Chong's departure, the gap back to third place now, which is Toby. 4.7 seconds. Mocking Weeks into fourth then. 2.8 seconds behind him. Judge Pickle back out on track then, holding that fifth position. He stayed ahead of Batman. A couple of the drivers have spun out and come in the pits themselves, so Donkey Chong has come in. Pickles stays out, LFC fan stays out. Let's see what Donkey Chong can do for the rest of this race as well with a fresh set of tyres. Race back on here though between the two championship rivals. On board with championship leader Dark Clark chasing down a second place in the championship Hirogram. 7 of a second between them at the minute. Just under 12 minutes of racing remaining. So time's been yo-yoing a little bit between Hirocram and Dark Clark. 10th on him through there. Loses a 10th on the next turn. Again, just yo-yoing backwards and forwards between these two currently. Toby pushing it in third, trying to keep himself ahead of Mocking Weeks in fourth. Big gap back to him though, 3.4 seconds. Judge Pickle in fifth. Still defending a little bit from Batman behind. 0.7 of a second behind him. Making up a couple of tenths per lap, maybe every couple of corners. Donkey Chong then back out the pits in at 7th. Fresh set of tyres on for him. Press real hard to the end of the race. stays out. LFC fan, no, gets paddock heel wrong. Into the gravel he goes. He's got a few dirty tyres to scrub off before he can get himself back to full race pace. Struggled a little bit all season, LFC fan. So 10 minutes remaining. Hirokram still leads Dark Clark second. Now is Dark Clark just toying with him? Is he just hanging around behind him? Or is he actually pressing for the position? He's getting a little bit closer, corner by corner. Tighter line through that turn, and it doesn't help him at all. Hirokram just able to carry a little bit more speed out. Oh, got the tyres, people. It's a bit warm in this sim room. Hirokram pushing it. He's pushing it. He's got Dark Clark right up his rear end then. Little look around the outside, piling the pressure probably on top of Hirokram here then. Hirokram holding that inside line coming into the final turn. Dark Clark backing off early, goes for a run on the exit. Hirokram gets himself over to the defensive line. Carrying good speed though. Dark Clark is going to run, no, he backs off early. Hirokram knows exactly what he's doing. He's looking for the switch back up the inside. Hirokram cuts back over to that inside line to block that kind of manoeuvre off. You're not having that one, thank you very much. Side by side through Druids though. And it is going to be a drag race down towards Graham Hill. So it is Dark Clark that gets through, but a bit of a sneaky manoeuvre by Hirokram gets him back through. Clark also finds himself with a half-a-second penalty. He goes for the switch back up the inside. Real good ding-dong battle between these two then. The last 10 minutes so far. Break open a little bit when Dark Clark loses that penalty though. Again, just goes for the switch back up the inside. Trying to get himself in front of Hirokram before he has to lose that penalty. Side by side as they run down the hill through Dingledale. Tricky, and does get himself just in front before he has to lose that penalty. And as little as that, you know, small of a gap as it is, it's enough. So if you've been in this position when you have to lose that half-second penalty, you can imagine how far he would be back now, but being in front, managed to hang on to the slipstream even with that penalty loss, coming it onto the start-finish straight again. The battle recommences then. Nothing in it really between those two. Toby comfortably in third then. He's pulled another second over Mocking Weeks. 3.6 seconds back to him. There's another 5.2 back to Judge Pickle in sixth. He has now pulled a big old chunk of time between himself and Batman. 2.6 seconds the gap there. Donkey Chong back out with fresh tyres, just 4.3 seconds behind Batman. He's only got 6.5 minutes left, but fresher tyres versus Batman's. He is on the mediums up front though, Batman. So they won't wear out anywhere near as quick as Donkey Chong's softs on the front. Fat Pickles in 8th, also not stopped. Big amounts of wear on that front left. Same for LFC fan, another penalty we find him with as well. Still nothing in it between these two. 5.5 minutes remaining. Hirokram a little bit deep through there, no penalty gained though. See with these boys is a rinse and repeat of the next few laps. So you saw Hirocram come across to the defensive line. Clark not close enough this time to go for the switch back up the inside, hence why you've not seen Hirocram come diving over to the right hand side of the circuit. He'll go a little bit defensive down the hill here, will he? Oh no, he backs off. We'll see him defender coming into Surtees. As we've seen, Dark Clark hasn't tried going for moves up there before. Backs off the throttle early, trying to get a better run on the exit. It's worked, but not as well as he'd liked. He's not going to be able to go for the move, is he? No, he thinks about it, tries to dupe Hirocram into coming across the track, but again looking for the move. Hirocram fully aware of his intentions. Again, comes across to that defensive line, just not going to make it easy for you. You want that position, I'm going to make you run around the outside at every opportunity, he's saying. Same down here. And around they go again. So 4 minutes remaining. Hirocram still leads, then Dark Clark second, Toby in third, Monkey Weeks fourth, Judge Pickle fifth, Batman in sixth, Donkey John seventh, Fat Pickles in eighth, LFC Fan ninth, no changes. Can Hirocram fend off Dark Clark, deny him that 2 out of 2 wins here tonight? He is piling the pressure on Hirocram up front though. Again, slightly different strategy through that turn there. Doesn't seem to benefit either of them. Oh dear, 3 minutes remaining. Dark Clark getting ever closer at the top of the hill. Really pressing then. Again, Hirocram just going slightly defensive on the run into some of these turns now, with Dark Clark quite so close. Defensive through Sterling, he's lost a bit of time through there. Dark Clark hoping Hirocram was going to switch back across to the racing line, but didn't. Now carries the speed around the outside. Can he? Where is he? Hirocram outbraking him through there. Dark Clark carrying all sorts of speed on the way out of Paddock Hill though. Trying to get the run onto Hirocram up the hill, goes for the switchback around the outside of Druid, still side by side as they run down the hill into Graham Hill. Again, it's Hirocram that hangs on to it, just defensive again on the run down towards Surtees. Now will Dark Clark's slightly faster exit work this time? Again, Hirocram going defensive on the run up the hill. And again, oh, Hirocram, that was a little bit late, Again, cuts back across the track. Absolutely nothing in it between these two. Wide in full track limits here as well. Another good exit by Dark Clark out of there. Hirocram under pressure coming into this final turn. They're going to be side by side through this last corner. This will become final lap when they cross the line. One more opportunity then for Dark Clark. Excuse me. Both drivers really pushing it then. Hirocram goes slightly defensive. Can Dark Clark then switch back on the inside? No, he can't. Piles the pressure back on, running down towards Graham Hill. Great exit out of there. Piles the pressure back on Hirakram. Hirakram goes defensive. Even has to back off the throttle through there, Dark Clark. He just can't seem to find a way past Hirakram now. Slowly running out of corners as well, so that is it. We're over the half an hour mark. The final lap board gets flashed up at the top left. And it's going to stay like this for the rest of the race. For this final lap, can Dark Clark squeeze his way through? Goes defensive through there. It's now or never for Dark Clark. Again, switches to the outside, looking for the switch back up the inside. He gets it, but Hirakram carries the speed through. He's got the inside line as well. Drag race to the finish, but it is going to be Hirakram that takes the win. Dark Clark tried absolutely everything, but could only manage second. Toby coming home in third. Mocking Weeks taking fourth position, is he? No. Yep. Yes, just Mocking Weeks does take fourth. Judge Pickle comes home in fifth. Batman takes sixth. Donkey Chong seventh. Fat Pickles is going to take eighth. And LFC Fan has already crossed the line. There it is. Not able to do it this time. Dark Clark, not 2 for 2. Hirakram fending you off for that one. There it is. Round 6 in the bag. 2 more rounds left of this, so 2 more weeks, obviously Friday nights. But that's it for tonight. I am back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for another round of Ringcaf. Sunday night as well for the next round of the Honda Civics Unleashed with the P1 boys. And unfortunately, if you're unaware, the Thursday Porsche Cayman League has been cancelled due to lack of numbers. So no Thursday League as it is at the minute. Gives me an extra night off. But yeah, Friday night 9 o'clock, Saturday night at 8 o'clock, and Sunday night at 9 o'clock. That's what we've got coming up for you lot. But that's pretty much it from me tonight, people. I hope you like what you watched. If you have, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Most of all, what I want you to do, tell your mates, tell your mums. My name's Dark Smoker. I'm out of here.